Time travel has long been a popular topic in science fiction and speculative fiction, but what if it's not just fiction? What if time travel is possible, and there are people who have actually experienced it? While there is no concrete evidence of time travel, there have been many cases throughout history that suggest the possibility of time travel. In this video, we will explore 7 shocking cases of time travel that have yet to be fully explained. Case 1. The Moberly-Jourdain Incident. The Moberly-Jourdain incident is perhaps one of the most well-known cases of time travel. In 1901, 2 women, Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, visited the Palace of Versailles in France. As they explored the gardens, they suddenly found themselves in a different time period. They claimed that they saw people dressed in clothing from the 18th century and that the atmosphere was very different from the present day. They also encountered a woman who they later identified as Marie Antoinette. When they returned to their own time, they discovered that the events they had witnessed were historically accurate. Some have suggested that the women experienced a time slip, a phenomenon in which a person moves through time without realizing it. Others believe that the women were simply imagining things or that they may have been suffering from a mental disorder. Regardless of the explanation, the Moberly-Jourdain incident remains one of the most intriguing cases of time travel. Case 2. The Philadelphia Experiment. The Philadelphia Experiment is a well-known story that has been the subject of numerous books and movies. In 1943, the U.S. Navy allegedly conducted an experiment in which they attempted to make a ship, the USS Eldridge, invisible to radar. According to some accounts, the experiment went horribly wrong, and the ship disappeared from view altogether. When the ship reappeared, some of the crew were reportedly fused into the metal of the ship, and others suffered from severe psychological distress. While the U.S. Navy denies that the Philadelphia experiment ever took place, many believe that the story is true. Some have suggested that the experiment was an attempt to develop a cloaking device for use during World War II. Others believe that the experiment was an attempt to create a time machine. Whatever the truth may be, the Philadelphia experiment remains a fascinating case of alleged time travel. Case 3. The Time-Traveling Hipster. In 2010, a photograph of a man wearing modern clothing and a t-shirt with the logo of a band that had not yet formed in the 1940s went viral. The photograph, taken in 1941, appeared to show a man who had somehow traveled through time. The man, who came to be known as the time-traveling hipster, quickly became an internet sensation. While some have suggested that the photograph is a hoax, others believe that it is genuine. Some have even suggested that the man may have been a time traveler who had traveled back in time to witness the events of World War II. While there is no way to confirm or deny these theories, the time-traveling hipster remains one of the most intriguing cases of alleged time travel. Case 4. Rudolph Fentz. In 1950, a man named Rudolph Fentz reportedly appeared out of nowhere in the middle of Times Square in New York City. He was wearing clothing from the 1800s and appeared confused and disoriented. When police questioned him, he said that he was from the year 1876 and that he had been on his way to a hotel when he suddenly found himself in the future. After investigating Fentz's story, police discovered that he had been listed as a missing person in 1876. They also discovered that he had been hit by a car and killed in 1950, just moments after his mysterious appearance in Times Square. While some have suggested that Fentz was a time traveler, others believe that his story may have been a fabrication or a case of mistaken identity. Regardless of the explanation, the story of Rudolph Fentz remains a fascinating mystery. Case 5. John Titor. In 2000, a man calling himself John Titor began posting on internet forums claiming to be a time traveler from the year 2036. Titor made a number of predictions about the future, some of which have yet to come to pass. He also provided detailed information about the time machine he had used to travel back to the year 2000. While many dismissed Titor's claims as a hoax, others were intrigued by his story. Some even claim to have had conversations with Titor and to have witnessed his time machine in action. While the true identity of John Titor remains a mystery, his story has become a cult phenomenon and continues to fascinate people today. Case 6. The Chronovisor. The Chronovisor is a device that is said to allow its user to view events from the past or future. The device was allegedly developed by a team of scientists led by the Italian priest Father Pellegrino Ornetti in the 1950s. Ernetti claimed that the chronovisor had allowed him to witness events such as the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While there is no concrete evidence that the chronovisor actually existed, the story has captured the imagination of many people. Some have suggested that the chronovisor was a precursor to modern time travel technology, while others believe that it was simply a hoax or a misunderstanding of scientific principles. Case 7. The time-traveling pilot. In 1935, a British pilot named Sir Victor Goddard reportedly had a strange experience while flying his plane. Goddard claimed that he had flown through a storm and had emerged in a different time period. He claimed that he had seen a group of biplanes that were not in use at the time and that he had landed at an airfield that was abandoned. When Goddard returned to his own time, he discovered that the airfield he had landed at had once been in use during World War I. He also discovered that the biplanes he had seen were in use during that time period. While some have suggested that Goddard's story was simply a case of mistaken identity or a hallucination caused by the storm, others believe that he may have truly traveled through time. Conclusion. While there is no concrete evidence of time travel, these 7 cases suggest that it may be possible. Whether these stories are hoaxes, misunderstandings, or genuine accounts of time travel remains to be seen. Regardless of the explanation, the stories of these alleged time travelers continue to fascinate people and spark the imagination. Perhaps one day we will discover the truth about time travel, but until then, we can only speculate and wonder about the mysteries of the universe.